When I come out to out here to the garden, it's my way to escape. I I'm not in prison. I'm in the garden. This is our area. This is I'm out, and I'm in the garden, and it's therapeutical. It makes me feel like I'm doing something good for myself and for my community, which is inside the fence. And we also do good for the outside community too, donations, and it just puts yourself at ease working with your hands.
The program has been here for about 3 years now. It's been very beneficial to the inmate population. It teaches them a skill that they can take to the community with them, either trying to get a landscape business or even run their own garden on the streets. We give them an opportunity to have their own square foot beds so that they can kind of experiment on what they like to garden with. We also allow them to work in the community gardens, and we pick a lot of produce and we give it to the community downtown, the soup kitchen, the Salvation Army. We track those weights that we give to them so that we have a running scale on how much produce is coming out of the gardens. We also allow them to sell the produce to the inmate population. In the prison setting, you don't get a lot of opportunity to show that you can be productive other than classwork. So when you come out here, this garden, when you look at it, it speaks for itself. Mm-hmm. All the hard work and dedication that these guys spend each day in this garden to keep it up.
When we got involved, we got a sponsor, the deputy warden's husband, Mr. Rich Larson. I guess he contacted Pam and said, well, you know, we might be able to go with K-State and see, because they got the agricultural thing. Let's see what we can do. He contacted, and as far as we know, they jumped on board. 2 weeks later, we had books from K-State, and, you know, without their help with the material, because we had 12 books the first year, we couldn't have bought them. We didn't have the money to buy seeds, and the K-State's helped us with that. They helped us with our soil samples. It's one of those things that, you know, it's a partnership, and we're thankful for them. You know, honored to be on board with K-State.
So how do you decide what you want to grow?
We look at what we can cook or what we can utilize here as inmates. We don't have ovens or stoves. We have a hot pot. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things we can't cook. If we go with the items that will make us more, that we sell more, make us more money to put back into the garden or donate, that's what we do with it. The produce that we don't sell, which is quite a lot actually, we donate to, first of all, the Christian Soup Kitchen here in town, and then also to the food bank. And this year we're going to be also donating to a local group called New Beginnings. Mm-hmm. And we'll start sending them some vegetables. Okay. Our first batch right now is going to the soup kitchen, would be about 200 pounds of potatoes and roughly 200 pounds of squash and zucchini. So, and we, all throughout the year as we grow, whatever we don't sell, we have weekly sales. Last year we donated around 6,700 pounds and around $2,500.
That's wonderful.
Our goals this year is 10,000 pounds and $5,000. Our donations really are our first love, but we have to, and that's to a man. We don't have anybody there's no selfishness. They all want to donate. But we have to make money to be able to go the next year.
Right.
So, and we don't, I mean, that was the initial intent was to sell to the inmates so they would have some. And so it works out. Everything, you know, we're happy with where we're at. Pesticides we can't use, so we have to come up with ways of killing critters without using them. So we take our cayenne peppers and we'll make sort of a pepper spray, and we'll use to spray for aphids and stuff with that. Mm-hmm. We do use safe soap, but we don't use any other pesticides.
Andy, tell us how you're involved with the Garden for Good.
Garden for Good is part of my Master Gardener's volunteer work. And what we do is we come out Mondays and we have a class every Monday. We pick a subject the previous week based on what they want to learn, what they want to know. Then we have a question and answer session every week. So we answer their questions, and sometimes they have questions for us that we don't know the answer to. So the next week we'll come back with an answer. Sometimes that involves a call to the extension office if I can't find the answer. But we get all the information they need.
Garden itself is the name of it is Garden for Good. And that's like 3 or 4 different folds. You have the good of knowing that the food you produce with your own hands will benefit not only yourself, but fellow guys in the prison. All the money that we raise from the sale of produce and stuff is kept for the next year to buy seeds or plants, or it's donated. None of the money is used for own personal gain. And you know, people think about, you know, the Garden for Good, and if you look around and you look behind me, you see the garden. It's for the good of not only us, for other people, you know, and if we can help them out, you know, we helping ourselves out. You know, it's about society as a whole, not just in prison, but outside of prison.
Without K-State's help, you know, we probably wouldn't have got off the ground. We had a couple of guys who knew what they were doing, but not very many. Just being able to come out here and do this and work in the dirt, watch this stuff grow. You know, in the beginning, you're sweating, it's terrible. You know, you're digging, and you sit there and look at it for the first month, and you're like, why are we doing this? This is ridiculous. And then you start seeing the stuff grow, and then it turns out like this, and it changes everything. So, to me, being able to do this and give back, I mean, actually do stuff worthwhile, that's where I mean, that's the biggest joy I get out of it. So, without it, you know, I wasn't doing much, and it's just completely changed me, being able to do this. I think to me the biggest thing is that everybody comes out and works their tails off, and again, to a man, are really sincere about our donations and what we do to the outside. They want to do that. So many of them have said, a couple of them have said, this was the single greatest thing they've accomplished in their life.
Wow.
Was this garden. So I say it's my second, because I have a son, and of course he's first. But this garden, other than that, is the single greatest thing I've ever accomplished. And I'm proud of this more than anything else.